Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and today we are celebrating Rebecca hitting 500 YouTube subscribers, and so we are doing an inspiration haul. Okay, it's time to celebrate another crafty friend hitting a milestone on YouTube for subscribers. So we've got Rebecca Moore, and she's hit 500 subscribers, and so I've gone through her Instagram and not pinned, but I guess saved several layouts that I just love. And I had a hard time choosing which layout I wanted to do. But I think I'm going to go with this one. I love the florals. I love the cute little butterflies. I love the black and white photo. I love this little cluster of flowers and stuff behind the photo. And then, of course, the triangles that she's got there on that layout. So I'm going to go with that one. And then I have pulled this photo. I didn't quite make it black and white, but it's pretty close. And then I've pulled this kit. And this is actually for National Scrapbook Day. But we do have some card kits. And that's what this is designed to be, as a card kit. But I am going to use it for this layout, and I'm going to try to use these stamp sets. So cute. Like, you're adorable, you're the cutest, and then maybe color in that little koala or maybe that llama. And the reason I chose this lovely paper packet is just the paper patterns. They were a lot like what Rebecca had. Kind of subdued, light colors. I'm usually not a pastel person. But if you recall, Rebecca had some kind of shades of gray and blue, and then some pale peach or pink colors. So I am going to pull from these and then get started on this layout. So in Rebecca's layout, it appears there's one pattern that's repeated 4 times. And that's that peach one, and then there's a pattern that's repeated twice, and another pattern that's repeated twice. So I only need 3 patterns. So I can't decide if I want to go with those. Even though I like the pink, it's just a weird pink. That, and have some embellishments that are pink, because I also want to bring in some of these butterflies like Rebecca had. So I think that might be the only pink. The other option would be that. And then bring in the blue somewhere. This side is just a little bit too busy. So, decisions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut my squares. And from the look of this sketch, because there is some space in between the triangles, I'm going to guess they are 5.5. Because that would leave an inch. Yeah, so 5.5 inches. And then 5.5 inches. I actually think this is going to be my color. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so hold that one. Let's do 5.5 inch square on each pattern, and then I can decide which one I'm going to repeat the most, because I'll need 2 squares for that one. And I just don't know about this pink. But I mean, it's a girl. You have to have pink on the layout of a girl, don't you? Not really. I truly don't believe that. Maybe stripes. Okay, now I'm really second guessing myself. So maybe this. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, everybody needs a 6-inch piece of paper, right? So that didn't really totally waste that. Okay, so 5.5 inches. Okay, and then we need triangles. So I'm going to go with this one. Just know your cutter, just however you want those triangles. If your paper has a pattern, you know, these other papers don't have a pattern to them. So I really don't have to worry about those. And again, I don't know if I want this to be my repetitive over and over and over again. So yeah, I don't think I want brown. I think I'm going to do the yellow as the one that has the most squares. So I'm just cutting another 5.5 inch square and then going to cut on the diagonal. Okay, so we've got those. Just like Rebecca, I'm going to build it on a sheet of white daisy. And then just like Rebecca, I'm going to edge distress the sides. So I do have an edge distresser, or you can use scissors, and all you do is just run your scissors across. You got to be really careful. These are Close to My Heart's micro tip scissors, and they are sharp. In fact, if you see a band-aid on my fingers, it's from these little suckers right here. If you see a burn, that's just because I can't cook without burning myself. Literally. I think as I get older, my depth perception is just totally off. And I don't care if that burner, that hot element is a foot away, my arm is going to find it. Okay, so. Well, that didn't work. Oh, got to use algebra. So this needs to equal 11. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So c squared needs to equal 5.5. Got any mathematicians out there? Okay, so the magic number, which I'll leave all of these measurements down below. The magic number is 4-inch squares, and then cut on the diagonal. So that's what my little mathematical brain figured out. And it makes these a little bit longer than 5.5 inches, which is perfect because I wanted 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm just going to lay these out. Now, one thing which I love stitching on my layouts. And that's what Rebecca did. She stitched on her layout. So I'm taking this time to lay all of this out and then try to decide if I'm going to stitch or if I'm going to do a faux stitch. I always keep my sewing machine out. That way it makes it really easy for me to use when I want to use it. I don't have to worry about, what I don't want to get it out. I am going to pull out my Versamat just to make sure. Let me attach this white daisy to my Versamat so it doesn't move so much. So I want to straddle that 6-inch mark. And then I want those straight. To stitch or not to stitch? That is the question. The other question is, yeah, I think I like those better. And then I've got this. I may trim, Well, you can't really see much of her triangle right here either. This is a weird photo because it's not really a 3x4, but you know, you don't need to know I'm wearing a Coca-Cola shirt, right? So let's see how close to a 3x4, because I also want to mat it quite a bit. So, oh, but that's like really, maybe 3¼ by 4¼ Yeah, that's better. Okay, so then once I add my double mats, because I think I want to bring in that peach color with my double mat as well, that'll help. So let's get these glued down. I'm going to remove all the extra ones, just put them off to the side. Start with the top. Keep away from the outsides because I'm still not sure if I'm going to machine stitch or faux stitch. So for this one, I want to put right there on that 6-inch mark. And I want to go just about 1/8 inch. Okay. So far, so good. Again, keeping away from the outside. And then move this one over 6 inches. 1/8 inch. So the 1/8 inch and 1/8 inch should in the end equal 1/4 inch. Okay, so then I can just repeat that process, but now just scoot it all the way over there and have it. Perfect. Okay, so this should come together pretty quickly. So I'm going to do this off camera, plus I just feel that my dog is about to bark. What'd I tell you? So I pulled a couple of stamps. These are actually on sale right now. So this is a Stampin' Thin Cut bundle. And I've done a whole bunch of thin cuts in colors that match this, which is the lovely paper. So I've got canary, the dark side, the light side. I've just got white, and then I've got sage. And then I pulled this stamp set as well, because this flower and this leaf and this flower will also match this flower, and this leaf. So I'm going to stamp those up, and then I think I'm going to use this as my title, Flourish, but I still haven't decided yet. So when I have a bunch of things to stamp, I like to use the back of my Versamat, just to make sure I get good, even coverage. And then I like to just lay them out. Now, a tip, if you are die cutting anything, if you have a die cut machine that you can adjust the plates or something like that, run 2 pieces of cardstock through there. It like cuts your time in half, and that is what I do. I don't have a lot of time to feed a whole bunch of stuff through the die cut machine, so I just run 2 pieces of cardstock and it cuts them perfectly. Sometimes if you have stitching, then that second layer, the stitching isn't as prominent, but those layers I usually just put kind of behind things so you really can't tell. So I've got all those laid out. I'm going to use this one for sage. And all I did was, because I'm using Lovely, I don't know about the paper packets that you use, but ours have the coordinating colors. So I pulled all those coordinating colors in my Close to My Heart inks. And then that way it makes it really easy for me to just ink these up and stamp them off. And I'm also the type of person that likes to cut and then stamp, or you could stamp and then cut. But I'm not sure if you stamp and then cut, if you're that kind, I don't think you could run 2 pieces of cardstock through at the same time because it may not cut them perfectly. So that's only one. That's one drawback to stamping and then cutting. Otherwise, it doesn't matter as long as it gets done. And if you don't have a die cut machine, these are all images that are really easy to just fussy cut out. I know that before my shoulder injury, I used to love to fussy cut. It was something that I could do while watching TV. It was just something that was kind of relaxing to me. Now, that repetitive motion, it really just, it doesn't work. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to use this one. I think I'm going to use the stitched one over here on this side. Just something about the stitching I like a whole lot better. The veins, it's real delicate, and so it does. Here, baby, go wet my stamp chamois, please.
No, you don't have to help me right now. After you finish all that.
Okay.
I thought you already finished.
Okay, so there's that, and then I'm gonna stamp all these, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got those stamped, and now I'm going to bring in some leaves from another project, and then these butterflies, and I'm just gonna add some sponging. So I'm gonna take Bluebell, and it just kind of adds dimension. It's messy, so that's why I have my all-purpose mat down here. And I definitely want the darker color toward the base. Just kind of adds even more dimension. And do this one right here. And then I think I'm going to add that sage color to these, as well as, you know, I told you I like these vein ones, but they're just kind of a little plain. So add some sage. It's not a whole lot, but I think you can tell. I think it's a difference. And you'll be able to really tell on these white ones. These blender brushes are just the best thing ever. I'll leave a link down below. I don't get anything off of them. I just like to spread the word. So, and the bristles get stained, but it doesn't transfer the color. I mean, I have ones that I use for light blues and greens, and this is it. But it doesn't really transfer the color. Okay, and then the butterflies, I'm going to use Ballerina. And just do the bottom. These butterflies are a sneak peek of our May special, so you want to make sure that you come back, take a look at those, May 1st, and they're so intricate. Again, I cut these 2 at a time, And you can see just how intricate they are. And I got the idea of adding ink at the bottom from my fellow creative design team member, Julie. And it does all the good. I mean, I just love it. Okay, so there's all the blending. Let me move those off to the side, and then we can start embellishing all of this. So here's my layout again. Move these up a little bit. Okay, so if you recall, Rebecca's had a whole bunch of stuff right here. Let me pull her layout up again. Some things right here, and then the title. So for Flourish, I'm going to gently peel this off. I'm going to have to fussy cut this, but I think it'll be okay. So I fussy cut most of this out, but I wanted to show you a neat trick that I learned from one of my customers. You take a tiny hole punch and you punch a hole in any loops that you want to cut out. And then that gives your scissors an entry point to your loop. And then you just use that little loop to work your little scissors in there and cut it out. So I've done that on all of these loops, and then just going to finish up this S. And you could leave it in there. That's kind of actually the trend right now, is to have letters that aren't or that, you know, are filled in some spots. But what I did off camera was I tried it with all the white still filled in these loops, and I just didn't like it. So we've got this one. I'm not going to mess with the top of the S and the top of the R. So there is that. Really liking that. I inked that up in Sapphire, that dark blue. And then we can just start laying some of these flowers, keeping in mind that there's other little spots that they need to go in. And then we've got some bluebell ones. I actually do that. I'm not sure. I'm not really happy with the tone-on-tone stamped ones. I'm not really sure. It just didn't do what I wanted it to do. And then tiny little dark blue ones. And then we can do some more little canary ones. And then this is a sneak peek of a new item as well. I love these open leaves. It's just, man, just adds so much dimension. So just going to continue to play with these. And these are another one that I ran through with 2 layers of cardstock. So you can see that I cut a white daisy one and a sage one. Maybe I'll have one down here. And I'll have a sage one over here. Okay. So off camera, I actually embellished this layout. I contemplated leaving all of that in, but even if I sped it up, it would make the video super long. So I will leave a link down to my Instagram account down below, and you can go catch the hyper speed of me filling in all these embellishments over there. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Don't forget that this is celebrating Rebecca hitting 500 subscribers, and I'll leave a link down to her YouTube video below. And then also don't forget that on May 1st, which is National Scrapbook Day, I will be a guest over on the Craft Roulette Facebook page. I'll leave a link to that event. And if you are new to scrapbooking, this is going to be fun. It's going to simplify the process. It's going to Well, heck, I mean, what am I saying? I have no idea what's in store. I am just told that it's going to be fun, just like her craft roulette card Friday night. So head on over to that event, RSVP with your payment, and then let's spend National Scrapbook Day preserving our memories and making sure that we document all those photos. Thank you again for stopping by and watching. If you liked what you saw, leave me a comment and a thumbs up. And if you aren't already a subscriber, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications.